Today, I'm completely out of the client management process, out of the strategy, and focus on, company growth and new business. And so that's changed my life immensely.
What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here with another episode of the Smart Agency Masterclass, a podcast for the agency owner that wants to hear other amazing agencies' stories so you can actually grow your agency faster and not feel all alone like I did when I was running my first agency. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about what's the head trash that we have in our head and how can we scale our agency faster by giving I'm not going to give it away, by giving your employees and your team more responsibility and where you don't have to do everything. So it's a really good episode. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, Jason. Doing well. Thanks for having me. This is looking forward to our chat.
Yes, I'm excited to learn about your story. So tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name is Julianne Fraser. I am the founder of Dialogue New York. We are a digital marketing consultancy that really specializes in building influencer marketing strategies for different lifestyle brands. We've been around for 5.5 years, and we work with a really wide variety of clients, from Shiseido and Adidas on the corporate end to Brooklinen and Seed Probiotics, Sakara Life, Harry's in the mid-range startup space, and quite a few early stage startups as well, Gia, Baboon to the Moon, Amicole, and whatnot. So our approach differs, depending on the client, their life cycle, their budget, but we've really fine-tuned a formula that works quite well in the influencer space.
Awesome. Well, how did you get started? Why did you start the agency?
I had been consulting at a startup accelerator previously for about 3 years, and really during that time understood the art of building client relationships and being able to kind of lay the foundation of strategy work for a lot of these startups, and kind of noticed in our industry that there were a lot of players involved. There's even more players today than ever before. The industry itself is over $16 billion invested in influence marketing this last year alone. So that number just continues to mount year over year. But I noticed that, there were a lot of varying approaches from PR firms that might understand, relationships and creativity behind campaigns, but not necessarily, tracking concrete results. Performance marketing agencies that do understand the importance of measuring returns with influencer marketing, but may not have that kind of creative brand marketer behind the helm. And you get these cringeworthy #ad type partnerships, and a lot of platforms that have evolved over the years to try and automate it. And I just felt that having done all three approaches throughout my career, there was an opportunity to kind of merge and develop, a strategy that kind of incorporated the benefits of them all. So that's where it began.
How many years or how many months went by where it was really kind of just you kind of doing everything and anything?
Yeah, when I first started, 2017, it was just me at home in my apartment handling every single aspect, from client relationships to the outreach, the execution of campaigns. I think that lasted about 6 to 7 months. And then I hired my first consultant to help with sort of the execution aspect. But I do think back on that time, and I'm pretty grateful that I did every single aspect, because I think it really helped me to understand, as I was growing my team, the ins and outs of the work itself.
If you look back, was there any mistakes that you made when you started hiring people? I know when I look back, it was like, oh my God, did I really do that?
So many mistakes, so many. Humbly, I think that was the biggest challenge of the last, nearly 6 years, has been hiring, mentoring, training. Definitely the team aspect has been my biggest challenge. And I think it's something I love and I invest a great deal in. And, to answer your question, surely I think at the beginning, I hired a lot of individuals focused on their skill and didn't realize that, arguably the most important aspect is their heart and their passion for it and their excitement to learn, to contribute to our our mission and to work with the clients that we have. So I think along the way, I had a few mistakes of individuals that just, weren't motivated, weren't excited, weren't passionate about it. And that really came out to our clients, or others that, might have been excellent experts in a certain area of our work. But because we are, a nimble, boutique agency by design, it's so helpful to have sort of individuals that can wear many hats and grow across the board. So I think my two biggest mistakes were hiring based off of the wrong elements or aspects of team members. And also being very sort of old school in my thought process of what growth looks like in our agency. Typical agencies would be enter in as a coordinator. After a certain amount of months, you would be promoted to an associate, a manager, whatever it looks like. And I really shifted the way I think about the growth paths for all of my team members and really, cater it to their passions, their talents. And I found, that just has improved things tenfold.
How long did it take you to realize that, for making sure you're coaching your team for what they want rather than kind of that traditional, Third Avenue structure of, moving up the ranks?
Honestly, I think years, maybe the first couple of years, I was doing it wrong. I credit a big pivotal moment of my career and my time as a business owner when I started working with my business coach. His name's Ben Easter. And I came to him when all intents and purposes a successful running business. And, we had a great reputation. We were growing, but with these beliefs of very old school, New York hustle and grind culture of what it was like to hire, to grow, and to run an agency. And I think together with him, I dismantled a lot of those limiting beliefs and really started to focus on hiring individuals and pinpointing their zone of genius, what it is that they absolutely love, what fires them up, and developing individual growth plans for each of them based on this. So one individual on our team is an absolute master at systems and execution. Another is phenomenal with client relationships and top level strategy. Another is great with negotiations and deals. And so if I had put all of them on the same track, I would have lost them a long time ago because, that's not what lights them up. And upward mobility is something that probably they would be dreading. So I kind of scratched that years ago, probably about 2-3 years ago, and really started to think of how I can, craft individual growth. And really proud to say that, today, my team of 8, the newest person to our team has been around for a year, up to 4.5, 5 years now. So really great retention and a great company culture between us. And I think that is greatly due to really being individualistic in the way that I manage them.
Walk me back through kind of how was life like before you really started realizing that you need to give power or the ability for your team to do more rather than kind of that thing that I guess as agency owners, we think we need to do everything, like on the strategy part.
Totally.
And walk us through kind of how was life like then? And how did you kind of fall into that trap?
I mean, so many of those limiting beliefs. So for the longest time, I thought I could be the only one running and managing client relationships because I felt that clients were coming to work specifically with me. So that's false belief number one. Number two, thinking that I had to be the one developing all of the strategy work for our clients. And so those two beliefs, in working with my business coach, I started to, find the right individuals who are great and I could mentor and train to develop the same sort of trust and camaraderie between our clients. So there was a lot of work that went into mentoring and teaching and training those very subtle details that led to our client retention and our growth as a company, our reputation, but was able to, find individuals that really excel at that. Likewise, the strategy work, found that breaking it up into chunks and rather than it being me, developing from start to finish, bringing in the elements of my team members, whether it be creative concepting or a strong copywriter or someone who is really plugged into the trends on social media and can develop some of these concepts. We now collaboratively approach these strategies, divvy them up, and together develop them. And today I'm completely out of the client management process, out of the strategy, and focus on, company growth and new business. And so that's changed my life immensely, not only because now I can, I really feel invigorated to focus on growth. So I haven't stagnated on doing the same work year after year after year, which I think can be common as an agency owner, but also just seeing how much better our work was when I empowered these individuals to bring their secret sauce to it. A huge humble awakening that thinking I was the one that had to do it all, we're 10x stronger and better putting all of our heads together and doing the work. So big turning point for me.
Lots to break down there. So what was the first thing that you guys did of chunking up the strategy? I really liked that part because there's a lot of us going, well, I have all these years of experience. How am I going to teach that? It's kind of like one of my favorite movie is Top Gun Maverick, where he's like, fighter pilot, that's who I am. How can I teach that? So what were some of the things that helped you out in order to give that control away?
Rather than focusing on the exact specifics of what goes into a strategy, because yes, there's a clear approach in terms of, the thought process or the format of a strategy. But I think really sharing with my team the why as it relates to both client management and strategy work. So what is it, from the subtleties of client management, recognizing a client's personality, recognizing the ecosystem that they live within and who they're reporting to and how to make them look good and what they care about. So there was a lot of training where we'd be in meetings and I'd say, okay, did you notice they're feeling pressure from their CEO for this reason? Let's ease that for them and be a great agency partner. Or did you notice there was a bit of tension there with an ego? Let's ease up on that and make, so these very, very subtle elements that aren't necessarily, they don't feel that important are actually, in my opinion, the most crucial aspects of running an agency. So being really thoughtful to explain that. But likewise with strategy, what is it that we're doing? It's, so many agencies can just churn out the same template, the same copy paste strategy. And I think we get together as a team, we have these brainstorms and I'm constantly challenging everyone to, that's been done. Let's break out from the norm. What is specific for this particular client? Let's not reinvent the wheel. And I think getting them in that thought process, if we're doing a competitive analysis, let's give really juicy, thoughtful, every single detail that goes into the strategy has to be offering value and isn't fluff and isn't, just filler content. And I think educating my team on that mentality was the most important to be able to get the quality of work that we are, because it's very easy to divide up a competitive analysis and divide up a, concept slide and whatnot, but it's really the meat that goes into the strategy, which will make or break it for a client. And so that has taken, time to really educate my team on.
How did you get over the point of, let's say you were going to give yourself a grade on strategy, right, for a client? Let's say it's going to be 100, right, when we do it, or 95, right? There's always a little room for improvement, but, right, we know our shit. Now, our team who's now doing the strategy, are you expecting them to be at your score, or are you going, as long as you get a B, I'm good?
No. I the way I run my company, we're very flexible. We were remote pre-COVID. I've been around for nearly 6 years. I've lived between 2 continents. So the way I structured the business is that my team members have earned trust and they're able to, have that flexibility in their work. I'm not focused on how many hours your butt is at a chair or all that garbage that is traditional to, New York hustle and grind. But on the flip side to that, my expectations are 95 to 100, period. No compromise there. And so when a strategy is being presented, I'll, have a look at it before it goes through to the client. And I'm giving that feedback until it's at the caliber that I would present it to. And so we bake in feedback elements or timelines to ensure that I have the time to give the feedback. And I've also mentored the leaders on my team to kind of think the way I do. And so they're giving that feedback and training the team. So I think that's a really crucial part. And it's something that's scary for an agency founder to delegate is, well, will the quality of the work change? And in my opinion, we're 100% referral based. Every client we've had has been through referrals. So our reputation is everything. And one bad strategy can just sink the ship, in my opinion, or my experience. So certainly my expectation would be at least 95, if not better. I challenge them to, and oftentimes we're presenting things that are far better than I ever would have done alone. So I'm super proud of that.
I like that you have kind of a check. There's a lot of agency owners out there where they're at the 95 doing it themselves when they're just focused on one or two clients, right?
Right.
Here's the trick question of going, now I have 20 clients. Now my grade and my output is not a 95 anymore. And this is what I want people to realize, because now your output is a D or a C. And then if you look at going, well, man, if I just gave more responsibility, right? Because there's a lot of people it seems like you guys are controlling your growth and doing it the right way. Some people are taking on so much and they can't keep up, where then the owner self-sabotages themselves on sales because they know that they're delivering at a below average score. But then what you have to realize is going, look, if I can bring someone to start delivering at a B level, that's going to be higher, and then constantly build that up. I just want people to think about it that way.
Oh, for sure. And I think, I can totally see what you're saying. And there's a lot of competitors in our space that will churn, take on a huge amount of new business. And quite frankly, they're coming to us afterwards saying, this doesn't work, influencer marketing sucks. And I think it's because they're okay to just churn out those D-level strategy or work. So for me, reputation and the quality of work is paramount. And therefore, you're right. I'm really conscious with how quickly we're growing and ensuring that we have the resources to take it on. But I also think that strategy to me is in not just the initial kickoff and deck. We'll put together a 50, 60 page comprehensive strategy, which will be a roadmap for the year. But I'm also mentoring the leaders on my team to think every 3 months, okay, what's coming down the pipeline? Have you picked up any red flags? Is it too easy? Is it too simple? Are we just copy and pasting the work? Do we need to reinvigorate them with some new, fresh ideas? Is it not working? Should we pivot and change? Just because we laid this strategy day one doesn't mean it's going to work at month 4. And so for me, the strategy work that I'm willing to empower others to do is not just at the start, it's all throughout. It's related to the client management process, but also leads to the reason why we have clients for many years, because we're constantly picking at it, looking at what works, what doesn't, and coming back with fresh ideas. And to me, that's just as important a strategic aspect than the start.
Yeah, I think you said two. I want to make sure everyone picks up on it, because there was 2 really important things that you just said. Was one is I'm constantly coaching my team. It's not just give them a vision and let them go. I think because one of the key roles when you transform from an owner to a CEO is one of those is coaching and mentoring your leadership team. Not everyone, but coaching the leaders and then the leaders coaching below. Yep. When you do that, you can start elevating. But the second thing too that you said is we're constantly doing strategy. I think too many agencies are just order takers. And someone goes, oh yeah, I heard this influencer marketing, or I heard this AI stuff. As an agency, you just do a strategy for really quick, and it's not really a strategy.
And then that's it. And they're done. They move on. They bring the strategy in house, or they say it doesn't work. I think that's crucial.
So just for everyone listening and watching, make sure do those 2 things, right? Don't be the order takers, and constantly coach and mentor your team, and you'll see steady growth year over
Right.
year and retention,
Right.
you'll lose clients. Like, look, I always laugh at people going, "We'll never lose a client." I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like,
I remember the first lost client. It's like such a person, and even to this day, I'm always assessing too. That's also part of the client management. Like, are we at fault here, or is there like recession and they're cutting budgets, or were they not ready for our work? Like, I think we've learned quite a bit where we come on board and building out a pipeline of new business, knowing that there's a really natural ebb and flow. So anyone that's never lost a client ever, I'm like, that's maybe they're a small agency, but I think it's pretty normal to experience that as an agency founder.
Exactly. Well, this has all been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
I think we not only has this mentality greatly improved and really like skyrocketed our growth as a company by taking this mentality of team, but also personally, it's really transformed my life and given me the freedom to really dictate my schedule, my, where I'm traveling to, what I'm focusing on, what I'm passionate about, so that I don't burn out or get bored. So I think it's equally as important from a business perspective to keep these things in mind, but also having an agency for more than 5 years, it can get sort of monotonous. And I find that this is a way that I'm incredibly passionate, excited, and also really able to live the life I want to live, which, let's be honest, a big reason for starting your own agency is to have the autonomy to craft your lifestyle. And if you're not there, then you're missing out on a great opportunity because you're, in charge of it. So I think delegating and empowering people to really do what they love most will not only improve your business, but your life personally as well.
Yeah. No, I love it. What's the website people go and check out the agency?
It's Dialogue NYC. Same with on Instagram, DIALOGUE NYC.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you guys subscribe and like. And if you guys want to get away from relying on referrals and really concentrate on building your pipeline and attracting your perfect clients, we developed a free masterclass. It's totally free. It's going to go over the unfair advantage, how to destroy your competition if you really want to, the biggest mistakes people make in their agency. It's going to show you how to position all these things so you can attract the right clients coming to you, so then you can charge the right amount. Make sure you all go to agencymastery360.com/attract. It's a free masterclass. Go there now. And until next time, have a swank day.